Hi, welcome. On this video, I'd like to discuss the issue of using a motivating agent. Because here's the thing that really will send people into almost like a panic state, okay? Based on the popularity of approaching training as a learning-based exercise. Because here's the thing, everyone's always scrambling around, and ask themselves the question, what's the first thing that they're thinking about? How do I motivate the dog to respond? Now, right away, that's absolutely a wrong way to think, okay? Absolutely the wrong way to think by way of creating relationship change with dogs, okay? And I understand this is very challenging for a lot of people because when I approach training differently, and what I would suggest is the people that are the most challenged by me saying this are typically the dog trainers who have come into agreement with this learning narrative for many years. But at the same time, people wonder why it is that there's so many problems and how it is that things can look really good but not be, okay? This is the problem, is related to painting a picture that way by incentivizing and motivating the dog, looking for some sort of motivator to get the dog to respond. Now, what I show is that the process itself needs to take the form of a interaction, okay? Very specific interactions that create relationship change. Now, here's the context, because this will make a lot of sense if you really think about it, because there's a lot of similarities in terms of a relationship problem between a selfish child and a parent. Because ask yourself the question, in terms of a motivator, ask yourself the question, what's the difference between, say, asking your child to go to the store for, say, some milk, and using a motivating agent by way of, say, if you go to the store, Johnny, I'll give you, $10, or go to the store because, I'm the parent, okay? That's really what it really comes down to. Okay, based on what's been established in the relationship in terms of parental influence, okay, what's been established between parent and child, what the response is going to be. Now, if you don't have any influence in the relationship with your child, well, probably you're going to be tempted to give little Johnny $10 to get the child to respond. But really think about the context of that, because you're not just, you have to look beyond response. Really, this is the problem that's happening in the dog training world. People are just looking at response without applying any sort of context. And so again, big difference between asking little Johnny to go to the store because you're the parent, and that's just what little Johnny needs to do, or motivating little Johnny by giving little Johnny $10, and he's already selfish. So if someone's doing that, typically that's their attitude towards parenting, and perhaps that's why you have a problem in the first place. And so, but here's the thing. So again, if you really apply some critical thinking here, this will make a lot of sense as to why these things are the way they are in the dog training world. So when you think about the context of a motivator, okay, dogs are social relational animals. It's within the context of relationship and promoting relationship change within the context of a dog as a follower, but the dog coming into agreement, okay, within the context of again, an interaction-based process, and within the context of what's reasonable, within the terms of how influence intersects the methodology, okay? So the motivator is applied differently, but applied in a way that represents investing properly, okay, in the relationship changing process. It's no different than a parent. Again, if you have a problem with little Johnny, getting that parent to invest, okay, in the process to create parental influence. Okay, there's ways to interact. So it's interaction based. You're not just looking at trying to apply a motivator that way, and that's what's happening in the dog training world. So again, really difficult for people to get their heads around this, because it's so entrenched. I want people to this. It's so entrenched. This culture. The culture is so entrenched in this popular idea. But again, people wonder why it is that dogs can be moving around, responding as you're working within the framework of this learning narrative, and why it is that dogs can still continue to hold control by way of a process, the way the process is presented that way, applying learning in a very superficial way, but not just superficial way. The point is, it's not a learning based exercise to begin with. So anyway, you hear my GPS really talking like I'm actually heading to a home visit session as I'm talking about this issue. And but again, really would encourage people to think about the whole context of a motivator and the step back from the process. Understand the process has to take the right form, because again, big difference between asking little Johnny to go to the store and using a motivating agent, or doing it because it's what's reasonable, and not just what's reasonable, it's about what, you know, the response to the request goes really to the core of the issue about what's been established. And so again, you get a problem with little Johnny, you have this, you know, that's why there's 4 styles of parenting. You have to advocate properly. If you don't, then again, you're setting yourself up for the same problem. And you know, and the same question would apply if you're, you know, would you do the same thing in a human setting with little Johnny? Well, the answer is no. Then my question is, why are you doing it with dogs? Okay, I mean, just think about it. And you have all these people have all these problems, and they wonder why it is that this isn't lining up or mirroring up for so many people. Well, it's because dogs are holding control to that narrative. So anyway, thanks for watching.